What's going on, gamers? I have something super important to tell you. You need to be doing these things every single day to improve your profile. Basically, this profile is to give you guys a massive list of everything that you get bonus for doing every single day. And those bonuses stack up quite nicely over a decent amount of time, might I add. I actually made a video like this a very long time ago that got good reception, and since then, Skyblock as a game has changed so much. I mean, when I made the video, it was like 2 years ago. I've had so many people ask me what they need to be doing every day, and now I can finally give them a nice, comprehensive, and updated list of everything you can do every day. Some of these things even I forget about and had to be reminded of, and it's always nice to have a reminder. But before we get into the video, I do want to ask you guys to please scroll down and subscribe. We are so incredibly close to 50,000 subscribers, which is 50% of the overall goal, 100,000 subs. And also, if any of you are ever purchasing anything on the Hypixel store, such as ranks, gems, or boosters, be sure to use code Yadi for 5% off your purchase. It truly is the best way to support creators, and I've also heard that code Yadi gives bonus RNG. So starting out with the first island, your personal island, everything that you can have on it that you should be doing every single day. The first thing is going to be the experimentation table. The experimentation table is something that can be done either every day or, as you can see here, every 3 days. They recently added this and your uses can stack up, capped at 3. After doing experimentation table, it will then be on a 24-hour timer. As you can see, my 24-hour timer has 2 hours before it's up, before it builds up a use. But there are a couple things to keep in mind about the experimentation table. The first thing would be getting your hands on some metaphysical serums. Drinking the serum shortens the chain required for super pairs add-on experiments by 1. You may drink up to 3 doses. What this means is whenever you're doing something such as chronometron or ultra sequencer, you have to get 1 less in the chain per serum you drink, so up to 3. So instead of having to get a chain of 12 for plus 3 clicks on metaphysical experiments, you only need to get a chain of 9. This is extremely useful because it saves a ton of time. The next thing you're going to want to get your hands on is a guardian pet. Whether it's just for the enchanting wisdom boost or for the lucky 7 perk, which is gain plus 7% chance to find ultra rare books and super pairs, it is worth using. And I actually have an auto pet rule because it's really annoying to have to remember to swap to it every time, and I'm not gonna lie, most of the time I don't remember to swap to it every single time. But all it is when you open the experimentation table, equip a guardian pet. What you can also do when you are doing experiments is you can have an auto pet rule set to when you gain enchanting XP, equip another pet that automatically levels that pet. Now I'm doing it on a golden dragon just because I don't have any other pet. I don't think this is the most efficient. You might be able to actually level guardian pets and sell them for profit. I don't know how much profit that would be, but that would be something to think about. The next thing you need to be doing every day on your island is checking your minions, and especially if you don't have a permanent fuel source, fueling your minions. Now, I like to leave my minions sit and build up in these enchanted hoppers. I actually have close to 2 billion coins sitting in these enchanted hoppers because I was going to post a short that was like, oh, I AFK to Hyperion, blah, 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 blah. I still might actually do that, so here's a leak. But you always want to be checking your minions for a couple of reasons. Number 1, if the fuel runs out, it's going to work way slower and you're kind of wasting efficiency. Number 2, if your minions happen to be full and you don't have an enchanted hopper like this, or you're going for a certain collection, you're no longer gaining anything for having those minions down. So you always want to be claiming them and collecting them, especially if you need to be collecting them. I know sheep minions have to be collected every 2 days, otherwise their profit goes way down. And this is just a good reminder every single day. The next thing is getting a beacon on your island and checking to make sure that beacon is always fueled. So my fuel is actually about to run out. The reason why you want to do this is because it gives a 10% or 11% if you're fueling it with a scorched power crystal buff to your minion speed. The faster your minions work, the more progress and money you make while being AFK. The other reason why you always want to have your beacon fueled is because you can give yourself extra profile stats. Now this can be anything from health, defense, strength, to sea creature chance. Magic find are 2 of the ones I use the most. Ability damage if you're trying to increase your damage with a hype or any other mage weapon. And you can either fuel this by using power crystals, which are about about 600k per insta-buy, or by using Scorched Power Crystals, which do go up in price, but you get that little bit extra bonus. If you're going for cost effectiveness, I would probably stick with the regular Power Crystals. I'm not. I just want to make sure that it's always fueled, so I'm going to be going with Scorched Power Crystal. Moving on to the next island, it's going to be your garden. There are multiple things that you want to be doing on your garden every single day, and even on shorter timers. The first thing is going to be super simple, just claiming AFK visitors, and you can actually do this every 75 minutes. You want to be doing this for the bonus farming XP, the bonus copper. If you're not maxed garden level, you get garden experience from doing this, but there are a couple things you want to keep in mind when doing this. The first thing is that there are several new attributes that actually give you bonuses when claiming these visitors. The first is going to be called Visitor Bait, and you get this from the Mudroom Shard, which is very cheap on Bazaar. All it is garden visitors arrive 10% faster. Now, I don't know if this only applies when you're actively farming or if it applies to AFK. If it does, it's shaving off 7.5 minutes that you have to wait before being able to claim your AFK visitors again, which would mean you would claim them at like 67.5 minutes while being AFK. I would say it's worth it anyway, just because it's a bonus and it's super cheap. The next thing you can buy is from the Invisibug Shard, which is also incredibly cheap, so I'd recommend buying this, is rare and above garden visitors have a plus 10% higher chance to arrive. This is super good because you only want to be claiming the visitors that are profitable. Rare and better visitors are always profitable because of the amount of copper that they give. There are also some uncommon visitors that are profitable, but I don't actually know which ones. I know Reese is for sure. The last attribute that you want to be looking at is the Ladybug Shard, although I think this is actually really expensive. But if you do happen to max it out at some point, you gain plus 10% more copper from garden visitors, which is super good because the more copper you get, the more worth it is to claim those visitors. Another thing to think about would be whether or not Finnegan is mayor in office. He grants bonus copper and fine flour for visitors, plus bonuses to rare visitors. It is especially good to be claiming visitors during Finnegan because they can give fine flour and bonus copper, which might make it more worthwhile to claim uncommon visitors. Fine flour especially matters on Iron Man because you need a lot of it. Another reason to be claiming AFK visitors is because you have to claim 84 different visitors, which I still don't have these. I got all of them already, but because Finnegan was bugged for a little while, they didn't actually count. You need to be claiming these to, number one, unlock all the uniques, but also because you want as many unique visitors as possible to grant bonus farming fortune for Green Thumb on your equipment. This does stack up and it does matter a lot when you get towards the later farming levels. The last thing I recommend when claiming visitors, as you can see, is holding a cultivating 10 hoe because you get plus 10 farming fortune. You are also going to want to equip a farming pet to level to then sell so that you're not just claiming that XP into the void, so you're actually making some money from it. And you can actually set up an auto pet rule, which I have currently set up. When you talk to a visitor in the garden, equip your slug with a farming XP boost on it. And the other thing you can do as well is make sure that you are EXP sharing a farming pet, because then they get that bonus as well. The next thing in the garden that you need to be checking on every single day are your mouse traps. And if you don't have mouse traps down, you need to get them down. The reason why is because you can actually make so much money just AFKing garden pests. That's right, especially with the attribute update. When you have pests sitting in these, you can actually claim them and lasso them down. Okay, I can't actually claim them because I have just a bunch of AFK ones in my garden, which you can also get at the same time. But after you lasso them down, you will get pest shards. I just got 2 pest shards because it depends on your hunter fortune as well. If you take these out, go to Bazaar. Oh, look at that. They're selling for 75k per. I just made 150k. That's 150k per pest. That means that every 45 minutes, you could be making 1.3.5 mil almost completely AFK. That is extremely good for new players to the game. Now, obviously, you won't have as much hunting fortune as me, but even half as much of that is extremely good for newer players to the game. It's AFK coins. It's really good. The other thing to note is you are going to have to eventually max your garden bestiary, and one of the easiest ways to do this is by just claiming these mouse traps whenever you can. The other thing to note is that you can't actually lasso field mice, so you're actually just going to have to vacuum these guys up. They're too quick for the lasso. And the last thing on the garden that you should be looking at every single day is the composter. The reason why, now a lot of people throw a big stink about composter because it costs a lot. Don't get me wrong, it does cost a lot to build up, and it does take a lot to actually get your money back. But at some point, you start making a lot of money. As you can see here, I make 533K, which again, obviously doesn't sound like a lot, but 533K per hour, completely AFK, is 12 mil a day. So every single day that I'm constantly having this fueled, I'm making 12 million coins, and I don't have to do anything for it. I actually just have 21,000 compost stored here, just because I don't claim it. I probably should claim it and sell it, but I'm making profit every single day. It's really good. Even a tier 1 composter still makes profit as long as you're putting in boxes of seeds and oil barrels, which I recommend because they're the most cost effective and easiest to get fuel and sources of organic matter in the game. The other thing is, if you care about Skyblock XP, you're gonna have to do this anyway, so you might as well do it now so you can start getting the return on your investment. The next island we're gonna be looking at is all the dailies that you can do in the Dwarven Mines, starting with very obviously your daily commissions. Now, for those of you that don't know, for the first 4 commissions you do every single day, you will get a daily bonus. If you are not maxed Heart of the Mountain, so Heart of the Mountain 10, it's going to be a daily bonus of like 1,000 extra or 900 extra Heart of the Mountain XP. If you are maxed like me, you will get bonus powder depending on the area you're in. So in Dwarven Mines, I'll get bonus Mithril powder. In Crystal Hollows, I'll get bonus Gemstone powder. And in the Glaciate Tunnels, I'll get bonus Glaciate powder. If you are not Heart of the Mountain 10, I do recommend claiming these dailies in the Dwarven Mines for Heart of the Mountain XP because it is the fastest commissions that you can do. And after you hit Heart of the Mountain 10, you want to claim in Dwarven Mines because Mithril powder is really annoying to grind if you haven't grinded it to max already. I would also recommend doing dailies for Mithril powder because Mithril makes the least out of the 3 areas, so when you're grinding that for powder, you want to have to do it as little as possible. The next daily in the Dwarven Mines, if you come up to the top of this booster right next to where you enter the Crystal Hollows, is going to be Fetcher. Fetcher is a funny guy, and he will give you a riddle and ask for your help, and if you solve it, you are granted with coins and Mithril powder. This should be done during ×2 powder events because it will multiply the powder received. It'll give ×2. Although, as you can see right here, I have a mod that actually tells me what it is, and so he says, I'm looking for some stuff, don't remember the name, and then he's telling me exactly what it is, and he'll also tell you the amount. I also want to mention here that this is affected by the powder buff Heart of the Mountain perk. So if you have this at 50, you will get the ×2 powder bonus from the event, as well as plus 50% powder because this perk applies to any source. The other way that you can easily identify what Fetcher needs if you don't have a mod, I actually don't know what mod is actually doing this for me, is you can join the Discord. If you join the Discord, head over to the bot commands channel and type /Fetcher. It will tell you exactly what you need to get Fetcher done that day. As today, it is 20 yellow stained glass, and it'll also tell you when it resets. The next NPC that you can do every day is going to be in the King's Castle at 180, 196, 141, and it's going to be the Puzzler. When you right click on him, he will give you different arrows that you have to follow based from the block that he is standing on, and if you mine the right block, you will get bonus Mithril powder. There are mods that will solve this for you, like as you can see right here, and this is also affected by the ×2 powder event. Again, this is also affected by the bonus Heart of the Mountain perk, and just like that, I got some bonus Mithril powder. The next daily found in the Dwarven Mines is the Forge, and this is something that I think not enough people take advantage of, especially Iron Man players, because the Forge is so incredibly important to Iron Man because you can't use the AH and buy stuff from there. You have to forge every single thing that you get. The Forge is also a great source of passive income from regular profiles. The best way to find out what makes the most profit from the Forge is again going to be joining the Discord, heading to the bot commands channel and typing /forge profits. You then add in your name so that it knows what you can actually forge. It'll show you what you can forge for the most profit and how long it's going to take. You can also sort by profit per hour, change all these around. You can view different recipes, all that. Another important thing to keep in mind is again heading back to the Heart of the Mountain, this quick forge perk. You can access this perk pretty early on, and this will decrease your forge times by up to 30% at max. But even just unlocking it and not putting any powder into it gives you 10% faster forge times, which again builds up. Heading back to the Heart of the Mountain for the next daily is going to be mining one of a Mithril, Gemstone, and Glaciate every single day with the Heart of the Mountain perk daily powder, as well as daily grind, which gives you bonus powder in each of the 3 areas by completing a commission. I mean, it's just free, easy powder. This is especially good for people who aren't actively grinding mining, so that if you ever want to get into it, you can start building powder this way super super easily. And the last thing I would mention in the Dwarven Mines that isn't really a daily, but is something you should be doing if you ever see them, are passive Dwarven events, like passively doing these events, such as Goblin Raid or Raffle. You can either AFK in Dwarven Mine lobbies for these, or if you're ever just doing daily commissions and you see these come on, you should be doing them. It's very good for leveling mining, especially early game mining, and getting some decent mithril powder. They don't take very long and they do give a decent set of rewards. One thing to note is if you do participate, you cannot leave the lobby till the event is over to get the rewards. The next thing you should be doing every single day is entering the Rift. And there are a couple dailies associated with the Rift that you are going to want to be doing. The first of which is going to be daily Rift entries. If you come over here and talk to the wizard's assistant, you will see that you have 3 of 3 free infusions. You get 1 free infusion every 4 hours. It saves a solid amount of coins to progress through the Rift only using free entries, but I also want to mention that if you are early game and I recommend grinding the Rift to build net worth, you should be buying these entries with Grand XP bottles and not just doing dailies. This was unfortunately a source of confusion by a few players. Now that we're actually inside the Rift, once you have Mountaintop unlocked, you do want to be playing Ubix averages every Skyblock year. All you have to do is guess the closest number to half the average of all guesses. If you do, you win a free will, which has a bizarre value of 8.3 mil right now. That's really good for early game players. This can be done every Skyblock year. As you can see, I've built up a lot of free wills, haven't transferred them out. I probably should do that and sell them because they're just kind of sitting here, or I should use them on my minion. There's also a chance to get 2 times free wills, but this isn't worth it. If a player chose a number at least 4 times higher than the average, they'll get 2 free wills, but you can only guess 100 as the highest number. Here's the issue. Whenever the average gets close to dropping to below 25 like it is right now, so many people guess 100 that it shoots the average back up and it's going to be 13 or 14. Me personally, I only ever guess 13 or 14, and I might actually change my guess right now to 14. The next thing you want to be doing after you've made your way up to the mountaintop is participating in Ubix Cube, and you can actually do this every 2 hours. For the best value, you always want to use it on the right of this 3 set of NPCs because you'll get the most motes out of it. Doing this every 2 hours and just spamming steel will get you anywhere from 25k to 45k motes. This may not sound like a lot, but my entire 7 million mote purse is only from doing Ubix Cube. If you are diligent, this is a way to save a lot of money instead of actually buying a Rift Prism. For Iron Man players, it's even more important because you have to grind all the motes out for Prism yourself. I think it's also good at this point to mention that I do have a full guide / walkthrough to the Rift on my YouTube channel, as well as a video on the mountaintop. If you need help with the Rift or Rift money making methods, check out those videos, which will be linked in the description. And the last thing that I want to talk about with the Rift is the Time Pocket Bag, which once again, after you make it to Mountaintop, you can unlock after getting to Timite 2. The Time Pocket Bag is going to be accessible from your Skyblock menu by clicking on your bags and then Time Pocket. And as you can see, I've actually had some stuff refining in here already that I forgot about. Pretty sure you originally start with 6 slots and then it can be upgraded by gaining 3 slots each time by sacrificing a disc right and a spotlight. Basically, all that happens is here is any upgradable consumable that can be placed in here will be gradually upgraded from you just being online, being on the game. You can AFK for this. The different time bag upgradables are going to be the bottle of Jerry into a refined bottle of Jerry, the dark cacao truffle into a refined dark cacao truffle, disc right into spotlight, and Moby Duck into the Moby Duck Collector's Edition. You are going to have to check the age and check to see which one is most worth upgrading because prices will always be changing. This Time Pocket Bag is also especially good for Dungeoneers. Due to the fact that you have the quiz puzzle in Dungeons, it will add 2 hours to the 300 hours needed to upgrade each item in the Time Pocket Bag. It's also worth noting that you can upgrade the things in your Time Pocket Bag by using the Enchanted Clock. Finally, moving to the next island, we are looking at Galatea, the newest addition to the Hypixel Skyblock space. And the first thing I'm going to be talking about are daily Agathos contests. Specifically, you only want to be claiming these for Heart of the Forest XP right now because of the 1200 Heart of the Forest daily bonus, because after hitting max, I'm max, it does not convert to whispers like it would if it was Heart of the Mountain. If they ever update it to where you get bonus whispers like Heart of the Mountain when you are max, continue to do these. As a side note right now, before Foraging Islands 2 and 3 come out, you can stack up to 28 total legendary contests to instantly claim when those release for a nice boost in Heart of the Forest XP. The next daily that you should be doing every single day on Galatea is mining your daily fig log and mining your daily mangrove log. Each individual log grants you 40,000 forest whispers, which is a lot of forest whispers and does stack up over time. I'm gonna go do that. This is extremely good for passive whisper gain, and it's very similar to the Heart of the Mountain perk. The last thing you want to be doing, which is associated with Galatea, is placing your hunt traps every single time you can. As you can see, I just got a ton of Burning Soul shards completely AFK. These hunt traps can either be bought off AH or they can be crafted through one of the new collections from Galatea, and you can also put them in your hunting toolkit if you don't want them to flood your inventory every single time you claim them. From what I've seen, the best place to put them is going to be the Smoldering Tomb, because you get Burning Soul shards. Burning Soul shards do sell for a solid amount of coins, and it's really just more AFK easy coins. The other place you can place them is going to be whenever Jerry's Island is open, placing them underwater for Snowfin, because Snowfin sells for a lot more because it is time gated. I used to actually place them under lava in the Crimson Isle because of the possible Infernal Koi shards, but the prices of Koi shards have dropped and they aren't guaranteed. You tend to get a lot of Lava Flame and Magma Slug, which don't sell for much. Iron Man players should always have traps placed to work on some of the tougher shards, because again, you're Iron Man, you have to grind all the shards out yourself. The next island we're going to be looking at is the Dungeon Hub, and the reason why is because you need to be doing your daily dungeon runs every single day. For those of you that don't know, you get a 50% bonus Kata and class XP for the first 5 runs done every single day. First 5 successful runs done. While doing this, I recommend playing the highest possible 4 you can play so you get the most benefit out of it. This does stack with any random bonuses or the derpy bonus. There's also a really cool way that you can actually check how many daily runs you have remaining in case you forget, or you play a couple runs and then you don't play for a while and you forget how many you actually did, and it's through this website called Ejectiles, which I will actually link in the description. All you have to do is come over to the combat area, click on dungeons, type in your IGN, make sure you're on the right profile, and then it will show you how many daily runs you have remaining. I obviously have 5 remaining because I've done 0 today. The next daily, which isn't really a daily but is something good to be checking every single day, that is associated with dungeons, is going to be Thunder Bottles, Storm Bottles, or Hurricane Bottles. Specifically for F7 and M7 players, as well as fishers, you always want to have Thunder Bottles in your inventory. It's just an extremely nice passive way to make a lot of coins over a very decent amount of runs. As you can see, the cheapest Hurricane in the bottle sells for 93 million coins. If you don't have these bottles in your inventory, you're losing out on this free money. The next island we're going to go to is the Crimson Isle. And the first thing we're going to talk about are daily faction quests. Every single day you're going to get 5 faction quests that you can complete. Anything from fetch an item, to fish a trophy fish, to do the dojo, to hunt a mini boss, to doing any of the rescue quests. Even if you struggle with anything combat related, you can still do the material ones if you aren't Iron Man, and both Iron Man and regular players can always do the rescue missions. If you don't know how to do one, I'm sure there are guides on YouTube. While claiming these, I recommend having a combat pet out to level, because they do give bonus combat XP. You're also going to want to be doing the other ways to get daily rep. These are not faction specific, and they're all very simple. The first one's going to be killing each mini boss once for plus 20 rep each. This includes Blade Soul, Barbarian Duke, the Mage Outlaw, the Magma Boss, as well as Ashfang, although Ashfang might be a little difficult for some newer players. The other ways to get rep are doing daily Kuja runs of each tier. For each tier you do, you get bonus rep respective to that tier. So for the basic tier, you get plus 10 rep, plus 20 for hot, plus 30 for burning, plus 40 for fiery, and plus 50 for completing an Infernal Kuja run. The other things you can do for rep every single day are battle either Rollum for the Mage faction or Cause for the Barb faction. Here's the amount of health and damage they have, but really it's just another easy way to get reputation. And then there are also other various ways to get reputation depending on your faction. If you're a part of the Mage faction, you can give Pablo a flower that he asked for every 2 days for plus 25 rep, and he is found at negative 131, 126, negative 818. If you head to negative 154, 128, negative 808, you can also give Avorius a cup of blood every 3 days, and that gives plus 5 rep. If you head to negative 130, 99, negative 7, 86. You can also throw a Titanic experience bottle on Malam for plus 20 rep, but this can only be done once. And then the only other things you can do for Mage would be completing the Alchemage's quest, which gives plus 250 rep, but it is kind of expensive, and killing Chigzilla after achieving 7,000 Mage rep, and this gives plus 100 rep and can only be done once. And then on the flip side of things, for Barb, obviously you can do your daily faction quest, killing each mini boss, daily cruiser runs, the duel guy, but the Barb specific ones are going to be completing Bar's quest, which gives plus 250 rep and can only be done once, giving Palm Tear Enchanted Bone Meal, which gives plus 50 rep every single day, giving Siri Sulfur, which gives plus 10 rep every 2 days, and then you could also return Turd's Toy to Seuss every 5 days to get plus 40 rep. The next thing you can do every single day in the Crimson Isles, which is found at negative 530, 40, negative 888, is getting your daily heavy pearls. And if you have a mod like me, it'll actually tell you the perfect route to get them. Although I don't think it's actually working. I think this is just like a Sky Handy thing. I would just run around, get all the pearls, and then end up getting out. And obviously you can take some damage. The damage you take doesn't super matter. After you collect all the heavy pearls, you're going to jump all the way up to the top, smack these pig tendrons, and get out of the matriarch, and then you will be rewarded with 3 heavy pearls, which I'm assuming went to my sacks. Heavy pearls are used to upgrade Kuja armor sets through different tiers such as basic to hot to burning to fiery and finally to infernal. These heavy pearls can also be sold on the bazaar for an easy 600k a day, or if you're Iron Man, it's even more important that you are grabbing these every day. You can also use something called Matriarch's Perfume up to 3 times every day to get bonus heavy pearls. So the max amount of heavy pearls that you can get every single day is 12, but this does cost bits or coins to buy. I would only use these if it's profit to sell the heavy pearls to bazaar, which it isn't right now, or if you don't want to wait to upgrade your Kuja armors if you are an Iron Man player. The last thing you can do every single day in the Crimson Isle, which can be found at negative 333, 147, negative 1000, is going to be Aranya, which is just this little crack in the wall. I probably wouldn't do Aranya every day just because I'm lazy, but basically all it is you have to bring some player with you, make them take off all their armor, and then Aranya will eat them and you'll get something called Kime, which isn't even on the AH. All it is it just gives plus 90,000 pet XP to whatever pet you choose, and it doesn't add to the pet candy lore. This can actually only be done once a week, and it's really annoying to get a second player to do it, so if you have a duo you could do it, otherwise I wouldn't bother. And the last island we're going to be talking about is the hub, because there are some dailies that you should be checking every single day in the hub. The first one is going to be Fan, because Fan, little do most people know, can actually level pets for you. Now I don't have any pets going in Fan just because I'm lazy and I haven't done the math, but it's free pet XP, and even if you're only doing the free tier upgrades, free pet XP is free pet XP. Another thing to note is that there is a shard related to Fan now after the foraging update, and it's called Owl Friend, and basically it'll give plus 2% more pet XP from Fan to your pets per level up to 20%. The other thing that you need to be checking every single day in the hub is going to be Elizabeth's upgrades. The reason why is because these take forever to max out. To put that in perspective, all profile upgrades take a total of 244 days to complete, and all account upgrades take a total of 341 days to complete. So always having them running helps when trying to get these done. Eventually, if you ever want to max out these upgrades like me, you will need to spend gems, which you can get a 5% discount using code Yadi in the Hypixel store for. Don't worry, we still have more dailies to go over, and these are just going to go in the miscellaneous category. The first one I want to talk about are NPC flips to Bazaar, if you're not an Iron Man. There are so many things that you can be buying to make coins every single day that cost 2 seconds to buy, sell them to Bazaar, boom, easy money. The first of which, and some of the most money, is actually just going to be buying brand experience bottles. So as you can see here, I'm spending about 2.48 million coins, and then I can turn around and offer them on Bazaar for 3.1. That's a lot of profit. You can make a lot of money doing this every single day. Every little bit of money helps. Something to keep in mind with this is if you do have Seal of the Family or any of the tiers of the family, you get a certain percentage off of shops, which will then contribute to more coins. Other flips you can do every single day are going to be buying all of these attributes from Kiara and selling them to Bazaar, except for Eel, I believe. Nope, Eel is profit right now if you sell offer it, so you can actually see that at the bottom. But look at how much money you can make just off of buying these, turning around, selling them. And actually, I found this super cool website on on the forum, so hopefully they get a lot of use out of this video, is Angie.Vercel.app. I'll have it linked in the description, but basically it shows you every single NPC to Bazaar flip that you can do, and it's outdated. That's why it doesn't have Grand XP bottles or the attributes from Galatea, but the rest of these, you can see which ones are actually profit. You can also toggle between insta-sell and sell orders, so if you just want to insta-sell, you don't want them sitting on your Bazaar, you can look at this, and if you want to sell off of them, you'll make more money. This is especially good for early game players. Something else that isn't going to make you money, but is something useful to do every single day, is using the Catechus feeder. You can use this on a pet and consume an ultimate carrot candy to grant it a certain amount of pet XP, but it doesn't leave the pet XP lore on the item. You can also use an infinite amount of these on your pet. It has 2 charges, so you can use 2 candies every 20 hours. This is really, really good, especially if you have a certain skill that you're not doing, but you still want to level pets from those skills. This is the way to do it. The next thing that you should be doing every single day is always EXP sharing pets. It is always worth it to be pet sharing and leveling a pet from the skill you are actively grinding. I would just always recommend having a pet from every skill that you can equip when you grind each individual skill. I know that costs a little bit of money, so it's not always within your reach, but you should always be leveling something. I mean, otherwise you're just deleting and losing out on free pet XP. These coins add up over time. The next thing that you should be looking at every single day is going to be your chocolate factory. Even though I hate the Skyblock XP from this event because I still don't have the rabbits that I need, it is always worth it to be passively checking on this because it takes 5,000 hours at odds to max. I don't know if that's still accurate or not. That's just what it was when it first came out. But yes, you heard that right. And it's time gated. You can only find rabbits every 36 hours out of the full Skyblock year. And while it's nothing insane, the coins from this do add up over time. So you better get started now. The next thing that you need to be doing every single day is eating cookies and always having bits available. At a certain fame rank, which I think is ambassador, I think that's what I am right now, you will always be making money on bits from purchasing cookies. This means you always want to have bits available, so you're always making money while online. And you can be AFK. Fame can either be increased by spending bits or gems, and if you're ever purchasing gems on the Hypixel store, be sure to use code Yadi for 5% off your purchase. Alright, enough plugging. I'm just excited that it's finally a thing. This also works super well with the new Bitbug shard, which gains plus 50% of your booster cookie bits up front. So you recuperate 50% of the coins that you spend on it up front. That's insane. This also has the side effect of always having cookie boost available. As you can see, I have 5 years, 216 days stacked up, which should always be enabled anyway because of the sheer amount of bonuses from cookies. And especially so that you never die and lose coins. The next thing you want to check every single day is if you have a god pot and all of your mix-ins available. I know a lot of people tend to forget about the mix-ins. These are very similar to the cookie boost. God pots and mix-ins just have so many powerful bonuses that it's worth checking to see if you have a god pot and mix-ins active every single day. The next thing you need to be checking are your century cakes, which I guess could have gone in the island category. Staying on the same track as the 2 previous ones, they give small bonuses that add up over time. And you always have the chance of dropping a cake soul, which sell for a very solid amount of coins. Feel free to always visit Yadi and use either this little hub as a portal hub and use it for cakes every single day. I do have every single cake in the game, as well as an island fairy soul. This next thing is, I have it written down as investing in recons for updates. I added this one here not necessarily because you should be investing into recons for updates, although for big updates this is a great long-term investment, but more because if you're not an Ironman player, you should be taking the time to check market prices on things you're looking to buy or big ticket items that you may get soon. The reasons are twofold. Number one, you won't end up getting scammed if you know the general market price on items, and you'll know if the person you're trading with is offering a fair price or not. Number two, if you know something normally sells for 100 million coins and it randomly drops to 80 million coins, you can buy it for cheap and either use it or resell it for profit. An example of this would be Chimera books. Chimera recently absolutely crashed in price, and if you would have bought the dip, you'd be able to sell them back at a much higher price right now. Now, me personally, I would only do this for items that you can use at some point in case it doesn't recover in price, because then you just got a discounted price on your purchase. And Chimera, let me tell you, is always useful. The next thing I recommend doing every single day is checking who the mayor is. Especially when you're trying to progress efficiently, checking mayors every day is effective so that you know what you should be grinding. This is now even more prominent with the addition of ministers, especially if there's a special mayor in office. Say you're an Iron Man and you didn't know that Scorpius was a mayor, well, now there's exclusives items that you can get from the darker auction that you never would have been able to get before. The next thing that you can do every day is actually check Shens as well as Rift Shens, but this is really only for players looking to buy items from either one. It's the same reason as checking market prices of items, just so that you know what they generally sell for and if they're selling for a discount and you can jump on it. Speaking of which, I've been looking to buy a giant rod for a long time, so hopefully I can get this one for about 3.84 billion coins. That'd be really nice. The next thing you should do every day is check the calendar. There are lots of events and Skyblock XP in this game that is time gated, so it's good to get in the habit of checking when certain events are occurring, such as the Season of Jerry, Hoppities, Traveling Zoo, Spooky Festival, etc. It's also a good reminder to do something like Ubit's averages before it resets every Skyblock year. And the last thing that I recommend every single day is filling your auction house. This is also relevant to the bazaar, but mostly to the auction house because you only get 14 total slots to sell at once. Most of the time, players like me will just hoard items like this fish chocolate that I never sell, or all of these shell mitts that sell for a relatively low price, but if you're able to sell them all, you'll make a lot of money. But if you don't sell this stuff, that's a lot of coins you're missing out on. It helps if you just take a little time at the end of every single day before you get off to fill up the auction house. This will reflect in your purse. And yeah, that'll do it. This video is actually a lot longer than I thought it was going to be when I first started making it, but there is the full list of everything you should be doing every single day, or like, you know, every hour, or depending on whatever it is. It's really good to get in the habit of constantly doing these things. It will reflect in your profile, you'll make very efficient progress, and it will reflect in your purse as well. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment if there's anything I missed, or if there's any fixes I should add to the description. If you're ever purchasing anything in the store, remember, use code Yadi, especially if my videos help you. I do appreciate it so much. You guys have been amazing. Lastly, I just want to add that I do have the hunting guide upcoming. I was working on it this week. I wasn't going to finish it, so instead this video is coming out first. I also have a 1.21 mods video upcoming, and the long-awaited dungeon guide is finally in the works of being put together. I know it's going to be like 4 to 5 business days, but when it's finally out, it's going to be amazing. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.